Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, it's Tuesday. Tuesday's request day. Today's map's requested by the creator, someone who's been a long-term fan of the show, despite being one of our younger followers. Yes, it's Luca. Hi, Luca. Now, what can I tell you about today's map? Well, it's kind of got an inbuilt drinking game. You'll soon work out when you have to take part. So if you're a big fan of a drinking game, now's a really good time to go and grab your beverage of choice. And I'll just sit back and hold back the daily reminder just for a few moments while you come back and settle down. And okay, right, if you settle back down now, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your daily reminder. That's right, hitting that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day, so thank you for taking the time. Today's map is Ganjabya, a map of the Ansdansdora series by ioarrivodatutteleparti. Yes, Luca. Right, so let's have a look at the start square. Start square looks pretty solid. We've got a big old port already in place there. We'll talk about that shortly. There's your terrain heights, so lots of buildable space on this map, and that underwater section in the crater, that is actually above land. And then you have got your resources that look like this. I'm sure you'll find a use there, no problems with me at all. Off to the workshop, what do we need? Network extensions 2 is required to unlimited trees. We'll be using Al's Albedo theme. The vanilla boreal LUT is the recommended LUT, so we'll be using that. And there's some generic trees and a broad bush as well. And that's it. That is all you need, unless you want to take part in the drinking game. Right, so anyway, we don't have any external road connections on this map. It is an island, but it takes up all of the map, so it's almost not an island. And we've got here, this is the Network Extensions 2 National Highway. Very clean and tidy too, so no real need for the Mass Transit DLC for this one, as we follow the highway along. Now, I'm not a big fan of the hills on this map. I know it's kind of like a fantasy map, but they're a little bit too rounded and a bit poofy. And then we've got the cliff faces cutting out of them as well. They're also very big as well. So I'm not a huge fan, but equally I can't really criticize them because there are places in the world where we have hills that are like this. So it's down to personal choice. Now, here we go. These fences aren't vanilla. Well, they are vanilla, but they are vanilla DLC. I think they're Park Life. So for those to appear, you will need Park Life DLC. So take a little sip of your beverage there, because I can promise you there will be more of that to come. I can just see Luca now slapping his head with his forehand going, didn't I put the DLC? No, you didn't put DLC requirements on the workshop. Now, anyway, LUTs. This is the vanilla LUT, that is the recommended LUT, and to be honest with you, I find it a bit blue, almost purpley in background. I prefer something, well, almost anything else. Let's go relight film. So there you go, that's a relight film and what that would look like. We will switch back, but I think almost any other LUT would have been sharper and clearer. Maybe it's just a colour vision issue that I have, but it just feels a little bit washed out, and you kind of, well, it's a vanilla LUT. What can I tell you? They just weren't expecting millions and millions of people to play the game and want it to be even better than they could actually produce it back at the time. So there we are. Some switchbacks going on here. These are actually very tidy, actually. Very, very tidy. Have a look at the slope down there. That makes an awful lot of sense. See, I am going to be critical, but I am also playing it up where it deserves. There's a lot of tree coverage well, we'll talk about tree coverage after the intermission, because I do want to talk about that. There are a lot of trees used. They could be used a little bit better, but they're not used badly. It's not a bad job. It's not a bad job at all. Just I think there's room for improvement. There's always room for improvement, even on my own maps, as you very loudly tell me. Whenever I release one, you do point out the obvious. Anyway, speaking of the obvious, now this, okay, we've got pillars kind of in the road, but we've got these warning signs telling us there are pillars in the road. Okay, I buy into that, sort of, but I don't buy into the fact that they wouldn't have built the road in a different way. You know, it's not like they were trying to squeeze it in amongst buildings, and then that was all the space they had, which would make all the sense. But I don't know. I am pretty sold on the idea that those they're just horrible. I'm just wondering if you could have pushed that to hide the back facing lights actually under the pillar in some way. Anyway, where were we? Yes, let's have a look down here. We have got inbuilt, this is all the network you need, because we don't have an outside road connection. We have the outside road, well, the internal rail, which connects up with shipping. Oh, is that, oh, what's the, oh, it's a shadow. I bet it's a seagull up there. Seagull. Yeah, I can just about make it out, just above the banner there. Right, so I thought we had some wildlife for a moment there. We did, it was a seagull. Right, so then if we follow the next route in, I'll come back to where we are. Now this is potential traffic issues, because we have got 8 lanes coming into 2 here. Okay, that could be a bit of a stretch. Then down here we have got, yes, I get this is customs. That's fine. And then we got some bollards and stuff here. Now, they're not vanilla. I think that's probably natural disasters. So take a little sip for those. And we've also got some decals as well, like there. And if we pull back, and I've managed to hide the other ones as well at the same time. But we've got decals, loads of decals over here as well. And again, they're part of a DLC. I'm not sure which one, so take a sip for those as well. But yes, I managed to hide everything else while doing that. So I'm sorry. Interesting road layouts here, like we got oh, and these fences, I'm pretty sure they're industries. Take a little sip, please. You might not be conscious by the end of today's show. Anyway, and then down here, yeah, we've got more decals down here. I'm not sure what they are. These are all vanilla apparently, and but yeah, more roughed up decals there as well. But yes, the road layout is quite interesting, the way it crosses over each other. I'm not sure it's optimal, but I'm not saying I don't like it. And I just not sure it's optimal. And we have the harbours to bring in your food and everything. Plus your passengers come in on this one as well. The colossal lines, very nice. So and then we got spaces for bus stops and for passenger trains there as well. So bus stops and passenger trains all set. So you're set. It does. This is a map that, although it's an island, it really does set you up to get you started. Some more. Oh, and hang on. That sign has got to be from mass transit. Take a sip, please, ladies and gentlemen. Take a sip. Yes. Just wanted to point these things out. Ah, look, we're pretty much in the start square, which means we can prepare for something rather special today. It's Jens. We haven't had much from Jens lately, and this is Jens at their best. It's the Passionskirche, sorry, by Jens. A beautiful Gothic, I say Gothic maybe, church of the European style. And factoids because factoids. In 1974, people in Great Britain, that's my country, hello, people in Great Britain bought more soap per head than any other European country. What happened in 1974? I think what happened in 1974. My grumble with this one, I'm guessing the bell's copper, but it just kind of, I think the texture could be a lot more fun there. Just looks a bit plastic. It's not fully aligned within the bell tower there. But then we have got, if you look at the metal bits at the top of the spire, that's all green as well. So I'm thinking it's copper, and maybe it's supposed to be like that, and I should shut up because I've never made an asset. Anyway, Passionskirche by Jens. I really like that, regardless of everything I've just said. And yes, I've never made an asset. Well, I have. I've made a couple of parks and stuff like that. But, oops, sorry. Back up. Yes, I've made a couple of parks. And what else have I done? Oh, I made the railway station, didn't I? Yes, a little bit of a laugh, a little bit of a giggle. A comedy asset. If you've not seen that, head on over to my workshop and have a little look at that one. I did review it in WhatsApp back in many shows ago. I still think it's fun, so there you are. Anyway, where were we? We are following the national road across the map to the area of interest. Yes, the once active volcano. Here we are. Apparently it's only open to scientists now, so this is where the scientists are detoxing, decontaminating, and maybe having their bottle of Sprite and a Mars bar, probably, I'm guessing, first thing that came to mind. But of course they are all Park Life DLC. Have a sip. Then we've got some more things down here, like the container. I'm reckoning the signs there, and the container there has got to be Natural Disasters DLC. And this little white fence here, I'm not sure what that is, but that's probably DLC. And the big fence, of course, again, is Industries DLC. Keep drinking. We've got the Park Life sign there, just to stop people from coming in and out. Speaking of which, I don't really understand the road layout here. Why have they fenced off a perfectly good road and built a dirt road instead? Couldn't they have just set up the camp around the concrete road? I don't see any reason why they couldn't have. It's an interesting thing. I'm sure there's some backstory on that I don't fully understand, but it's an interesting thing. I like interesting things because I'm not one. Down here we've got an old settlement and everybody's favourite factory, where they probably were, I don't know, mining out little bits of ore from this volcano we're going up into. It's a big volcano. It's one of those very shallow ones. And up here we've got we've got some bollards there from some DLC that isn't listed. Have a sip. And this guy had a great view into the crater until it exploded on him, and then he couldn't see anything after that because his eyes were mush, literal mush. And we're down into the crater where there are natural, according to the backstory, I've been reading the backstory, there are natural gases escaping from here, so only the scientists are allowed into here. Hence all the dead trees and the abandoned settlements. And these, I think, are natural disasters. Have another sip, please, while we take that intermission.
Are you fed up with random vanilla buildings spawning in random locations? Do you want a specific type of building in a particular zone? Then you need the beginner's guide to theme management. Click the information button below.
And so back to Ganjabya, a map of the Ansdansdora series by ioarrivodatutteleparti. And we got shipping routes. And the shipping routes are all the way around this little island on the outside of the map. I guess that's nice. Got the curved links, so that's all good. That's all good. And in fact, basically shipping routes are pretty good. I'm going to give them 9 out of 10. You can even go all the way around this little island here as well. Why only 9 out of 10? Why isn't there a 10th out of 10? It actually might only be 8 out of 10, because where there is a problem, it's in full view of everything. Here we go. Come around here. Coming up here towards the start square and the harbour. And there we go. We've got all the links there apart from one. That one. Right in the view of the harbour. I don't know. So anyway, ships will have to do a right angle turning to get into the harbour from that direction. Water flow. We have a river. We have the river that goes through the start square. And it's a working river. And there's plenty enough water running down the river as well. So if you want to pump your sewage into this, all the poop will flow out into this natural harbour here. But there isn't much water flow in this natural harbour, so it might start to stink out a little bit. We do also have natural water in this harbour as well. No, actually, this is just out of the start square. I take that back. I'm sorry. This is not in the start square. There's no water flow there anyway, or when you do buy into it. Anyway, the map as a whole, there's plenty of build opportunities here. And we've got a castle. Ooh, it's a castle. Down here, we've got a little path leads up to the castle. We've got a wishing well there, which I think is Park Life DLC. Now have a sip. And this footpath that leads from the bottom of the hill to the top of the castle. Yeah, that is also a Park Life DLC. You're still sober. Or are you completely passed out? There's one of those two. And we head up here. We do have some nice safety fences here as well, which are actually floating a little bit. A little bit of a detailing flaw there because it shouldn't be floating. And yes, of course, they are, I believe, Park Life DLC as well. Lucky I'm not playing this drinking game. I would not be on my chair any longer. We have this fire point there, fire tower. So that would be a natural disasters DLC item. Take another sip. And then into the castle. The castle is magnificent, by the way. I'm going to say this now. The castle is magnificent. I've got one minor grumble, and that's this tower here. Have a look at the tower there. The wall isn't quite perfectly aligned inside. It's just a bit janky. It's perfect in these towers here. Got a very nice entrance to the castle. The gates are on the inside. That's always a plus for me. And if you were to invade this castle, you still can't get to the keep. Once you break through here, you've still got it all the way down here. You still can't get to the keep until around here. And then there would have been a gate for the keep over here, which you'd have to break through as well. And yeah, everything is pretty secure. That's a very defensible castle, I must say. So anyways, while we're still moaning about missing DLC, oh, we've got the cemetery as well, missing DLC, I will point out that I've checked the loading screen mod. There are a couple of assets missing as well. The trees, the tree layouts are decorative. They look great on the flatland, less so in the mountains. Anyway, the missing assets for here. There's a hedge network from Ronix. And there's Spence's parking gate set, which I'm sure are used for the customs points, probably. But yes, the trees on the sides of the mountains, I'm not really buying the pattern here. It doesn't make any sense. I can see some blending going on here as well. Will make a bit more sense. But those patterns on the side, I'm not sure how you would have got natural patterns like that. Would you send the forestry team up there to clear that area like that? I don't know. Maybe more trees down in the actual river valleys and less on the higher points. That said, there's nothing, there's nothing wrong. It's just I'm just not buying it at all. Water spawn point with the Park Life rock there. It's a vanilla asset that came free with the Park Life DLC, so you don't need Park Life for that. So you don't need to have a sip. Okay, you got away with that one. This is the crater. We've got some. If we come in close enough, we have got the smoke. Which gets, when you're getting close enough, that's pretty dramatic. Pretty dramatic. We've got another one over here. We're not going to hang around for this one to show you that one as well. There's a particular one I'm looking for, actually. It doesn't appear to be inside the crater. Now, where is it? We will have a look at this, though. There you go. These houses probably were worth a lot of money before the eruption. And now they're not worth anything. I like this little bay, actually. It reminds me a little bit of something like Palito Bay in Grand Theft Auto. That's the one. I've played it for so long, I nearly forgot the name of it. Now I'm looking for, maybe it's this one. Here we go, yes. Now, I'm always talking about the Park Life Glory Hole. I would say this is Luca's Glory Hole, and I hope I never get to say those words ever again. Yes, it's just detailing. There's no Park Life assets in there at all. You don't need to have another sip, but you can if you want. We've got a quarry. There's all sorts going on. There is also an essential lighthouse somewhere. I'll find that in a minute. But while we're doing that, I haven't noticed this lake before. Let's come down and have a little look at the lake. The lake looks quite neat. It makes some sense to have it there as well. It's also a water spawn point for a little river off the edge there as well. So that's all good. And that's rail. We didn't look at the rail, but I don't feel that we really need to on this one. Hello, and here's your essential lighthouse. Now it's your chance to vote on this map. Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it all perfect? Look at that. Very good. Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewers' Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. But before you decide, you need to vote. And before you vote, there was also some Park Life fencing there as well, so have a little sip. Also, I think this is a BonBon Island. I'm quite happy with this one, living in that little lighthouse at the top there. Okay, aesthetically, it looks okay. I think the lot holds it back a lot, and it doesn't really shine for me. I'm just not buying the overall aesthetic on it, but it's not bad. For that, I can give it a very solid 3 stars. Detailing. There's a lot of detailing. The detailing almost sells itself for 4 stars. Possibly does sell itself for 4 stars. And of course, most of it won't appear because it's not listed in the DLC on the workshop. So I can't go higher than 3 because the detailing is 3 stars anyway. 3 stars. Gameplay potential. I think it's very playable. I think it's set up to be playable. And I've got to say that none of the critical systems within the map are DLC reliant. So based on that, it's 4 stars. 4 stars for gameplay. It's okay. It's okay. Luca, it's okay, mate. Well done. Ganjabya, a map of the Ansdansdora series by ioarrivodatutteleparti. I go through that because I know a lot of you like me to struggle and I'm determined not to. Not with that one, because I'm getting used to it. It'll change its name now to something I can't do at all. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. Join me tomorrow for another map in the What's Map series. Last night we have a flowscape. Make sure you go and watch that, because I'm giving away a free copy to one lucky winner. So be sure to tune in to watch that. Link is on screen now. And an old map also there if you like watching old maps and voting on those ones if you haven't voted already. That's it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. I've been BonBonB. You've been very, very welcome. And you can stop drinking now.